Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be Pain Free You, Teach Your Brain to End Your Pain. And I'm going to kind of use the outline of the book to do a little bit of teaching here. So, hope everybody's doing well. Relax. I would shoot outside, but it's like 40-mile-an-hour gusty winds. And I don't want the sound of the wind in the microphone, so shooting indoors. All right, so relax your body, slow your breathing. So, it took a long time to write this book. One could say 25 years from the time I first experienced my back pain till the day it published. That book has been a work in progress in my brain. You know, people say, what's your qualifications? School of life. Lots of experience. 13 years of pain. Been fascinated ever since. Been studying it, learning what I can. Took a few courses. Read every book I could find on the topic and any ancillary topics. And, this book is the result of those 25 years of firsthand experience, study, and now, going on nearly 6 years of daily videos, teaching these concepts daily, going on 3.5 years of group coaching, where we do about 12 hours a week of group coaching, so thousands of hours of time one-on-one with people in a group format. Prior to that, I probably coached about 600 or 700 people on a one-on-one basis, so tons of experience that all is condensed into the book. So if you haven't gotten it yet, painfreeyoubook.com. You can get that. That's the USA Amazon site, but you can go to amazon.com or amazon. Whatever your regional Amazon is and pick it up there. It's available on Kindle ebook, audio on Audible or on Spotify. You can get the audio book where I read it, and also paperback at the various Amazon sites. And that's where it's available. So what I wanted to do is kind of walk through the table of contents here so you can get a handle on what's included and what's Dan going to talk about there. And so it starts off with, an introduction, what qualifies me to write this book. So I tell my story and my journey. Part 2 is before we can eliminate pain or symptoms, we must understand them. So in this section, I talk about the epidemic of chronic pain and illness and the failure of modern medicine, right? And I go pretty deep into it. I talk about the current worldview on chronic pain and other chronic conditions. And the current worldview is primarily a body's broken or you're sick, right? Then I get into how does this system called the human brain and nervous system and body all function. So chapter 4 is really where I talk about the primary responsibility of the brain. Safety and survival. That should sound familiar if you've been watching my videos for a while. Chapter 5, I introduce the concept of perceived danger, creating a response, which is often pain or other symptoms. So perceived danger is the root cause of our symptoms. It's a very sophisticated warning system. When the brain perceives danger, the warning is symptoms. And then once we understand and have covered how this system works, chapter 6 is the self-assessment. And there's a series of questions there that will help you evaluate how your symptoms are behaving. And that's really the determining factor, because I have so many people say, well, is this medical diagnosis also a mind-body condition? That's not how we figure it out, because sometimes yes, sometimes no, but the medical diagnosis and the label is not the determining factor. How symptoms behave is. Now here's a caveat and a disclaimer. If you have something that feels serious, go to the doctor. If you have something that feels catastrophic, get to the emergency room. Heart, lungs, breathing, right? Major infection, go to the doctors. Tumors, cancers, let's rule that stuff out. If you had an injury, a fall, an accident, rule out any type of fractures. Let's rule out the significant things that are absolutely medical conditions. Once you've done that and you find that there's nothing catastrophic or significant going on, then you can utilize the assessment in Chapter 6 to rule in this mind-body condition that I refer to as a perceived danger response. Symptoms are pain, and there's dozens and dozens of symptoms, and I cover that in the book. So there's the assessment there, and then I really encourage people to make the big decision, which is if it tells you it's a mind-body condition, the big decision is acceptance, right? Because if you still go, well, I don't know, that's what Dan's book says, and that's what these assessments say. And look, I didn't create these assessments out of thin air. This is based on, decades of clinical work from medical doctors doing a mind-body practice. Dr. Schubner, a lot of that was taken from Dr. Sarno, and it's kind of evolved. And, my book is kind of a summary of all those various characteristics of pain or symptoms that allow us to rule in the mind-body condition. So if you want some clarity, the book is a great way to get it. So then I go into part 3 of the book, which is teaching your brain to end your pain. And that's the subtitle, or symptoms. And so I start out with the foundational 4 principles. Well, what are those? What creates symptoms? Well, we just talked about it, right? In Chapter 5. Perceived danger creates symptoms. So that's number 1 of the foundational 4. Number 2 is, does it apply to me? That's the assessment, Chapter 6. Now the third one is there a cure? And the answer is yes. Now I have lots and lots of feedback from the audience around the world, words of thanks for Dan and his work, and people are saying how well this stuff has worked for them. I've got 100 success stories on my YouTube channel, and people are getting better all the time. So is there a solution? Absolutely yes, and it's well summarized in the book, and I also cover it in my daily videos. So that was foundational number 3. Is there a cure? And number 4, here's a tricky one. Do I have what it takes to get better? And the answer is yes. Because if another human being did, and they were all freaked out and terrified and anxious, and they got better, so can you. Doesn't matter how anxious you are. It's formulaic. We learn about the system. We rule it in for us that this is what's going on for me. We decide that I can do this, right? There's a formula, and it's not only possible to get better, but if you follow this system, it's probable, and I'll say it's your turn. So, after we cover the 4 principles and make sure those are locked down, I talk about like knowledge and safety therapy. The knowledge is what's going on, and safety is, well, if perceived danger is the problem, safety is the solution. So now I go into what I call in the book the simple safety solution, and there's a chapter for each of these: teaching the brain emotional safety, teaching the brain physical safety. There's a 6 steps to resuming activity process in that section. Teaching the brain mental safety, which is essentially not giving too much significance or believing our scary, fearful thoughts, right? That's mental safety. Teaching safety around our self-image. Now, this seems a little bit out of place. It's like, well, what does self-image have to do with this? A lot. Because if we have a really low self-image and we are judging and criticizing and beating ourselves up and blaming ourselves for all this stuff, it's going to be hard for the brain to feel safe, right? Here's a big one, Chapter 15, choosing our response to symptoms as a way to teach safety. All right? And this is key, because if we are responding to symptoms with fear and being terrified and panic and worry and anxiety and predicting a horrible future, it can be really hard to teach the brain that this perceived danger is not real, because we are acting and behaving and responding as if the symptoms are a big deal and a big problem and we're broken or sick. So how we respond to symptoms is massive. Chapter 16, engage your brain in life to teach safety. Well, what does that mean? It means like if you're doing more normal stuff, your brain has no choice but to go, hey, look, Dan must be okay because he's doing more normal stuff. He's not staring at the symptoms all day long, every day, and trying to figure it out and fix it and being in a panic, right? The more you engage in life, even with symptoms, the more the brain's going to say, I guess he's not that bad. I guess he's okay. Well, look at that. He's doing great, right? And with time, the more you do, the more you're going to be capable of doing. So if you want to expand your capacity, you start by expanding your capacity by doing more, even if symptoms are still present. And chapter 17 is all about mindset. And I think that's the glue that holds all these safety strategies together. The core mindset is, holy crap, I'm not broken. And I have a whole bunch of mindset ideas, which you can almost use as like a self-talk script. So that's there. And then chapter 4 is really all summary. How to end your pain and symptoms. I summarize again the 4 foundational principles and the safety strategies. So instead of rereading the whole book, you can just go to section 4 and read the summary, which I kind of bullet point it, make it nice and easy. A few words of caution. Do these things, but don't do those things. Kind of like a troubleshooting guide. I go over the 11 mistakes that keep people in pain. And then I provide a lot of comments from both YouTube, Facebook, of people just, super thankful for the videos and the daily teachings and how much it's helped them. And it's a really encouraging thing to read, to see, holy crap, look at all these people getting better. Proof this stuff works. And I do have reader resources. So for anybody who's got the book, know that you can go to www.painfreeyou.com/book resources. And there you will find about 10 or 12 PDF downloadable documents, which will support your recovery, as well as a 25-minute interview with me, and just answering a lot of questions and reiterating much of what's in this book. So, that's in a nutshell what's in the book. You'll probably say, well, it sounds like a lot of stuff Dan talks about in the daily video, so I probably don't need it. But I have heard from a lot of people that said, I knew a lot of what Dan taught, but to have it all in one place, easily referenceable, they're loving it. And if you want some feedback on the book, just go to Amazon.com, search for Pain Free You. As a matter of fact, painfreeyoubook.com will bring you right to it. And you'll see 150 plus 5-star reviews. And the book's only been out, when I record this, about 7 weeks, going on 8 weeks. So, a little bit of a walkthrough, but it's also, this video is instructional because I'm mapping out the formulaic way of getting better. You got to understand it first. So the knowledge is step 1. The assessment is step 2. The decision is step 3. Teaching your own brain that you're actually, in fact, safe is step 4. Resuming your life really is step 5. And that's really the thing. It's a formula. It's a system. It's predictable. It's reliable. It works. And it's your turn. So if you don't have the book, in the U.S., go to painfreeyoubook.com. If you're in other parts of the world, just go to your regional Amazon website. And for somebody who says, well, it's not available in paperback in my country, go to a regional one nearby, UK, US, Canada, Australia, and see if you can find it there. And if so, get it shipped to wherever you are located. I don't control all of that. We put the book up on Amazon, and based on what they're allowed to do in different countries, they determine where they're printing and shipping books. But I've seen some creative people order from a different regional website and just have the book shipped to them. You can always get it on Kindle, pretty much anywhere, or audio, which means those are digitally delivered, so there's no shipping involved, and you should be able to get that pretty much anywhere in the world. So, with all that, folks, I wanted to really thank you. The response for the book was amazing. Like I said, it was a culmination of 25 years of living with it, studying it, and now teaching it. And, probably from the time I got serious writing, it was an 18-month project, but I've been thinking about writing a book seemingly forever. My first draft of an ebook was in 2009, and it was horrible. So I appreciate all the love and support for it. If you're not sure if you need it, it's a low investment, $20 for the paperback, $20 for the audiobook. $10 for the Kindle ebook. Super inexpensive. Have it in your bag of tricks, your tools, your resources, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I think it'll really help you gain clarity. And there's a lot of stuff out in the mind-body community, a lot of teachings from a lot of different coaches. What I've really tried to do is simplify everything into the core basics. What's going on? Does it apply to me? And how do I get rid of it? Safety. So it's as simplified as I can make it. Hope you pick it up. If you've already got it, go leave a review on Amazon.com. And no matter what, I'm just doing what I can to help as many people as I can. I believe the book will help you if you don't have it yet. If you do have it, I'd love to hear back from you. Either comment below or write a review on Amazon. And spread the word, folks, because lots of people are really enjoying it. So once again, I love you. I appreciate you. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.